Hey, everybody. Happy Thursday. Hope everybody's doing well. I should say hello, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you're watching from. I want everybody to know that I'm thinking of everybody who was in the path of Nicole. I know it hit during the night last night, so I've been thinking about you. And even those on the border of the cold front and the warm front, there's supposed to be a really bad line of storms down the central part of the United States. So I hope everybody's doing well. Hey, Do. So tonight I decided to work with the cup of tea stamp set and coordinating dies. I don't know if, hey, Fran, how are you? I don't know if you remember, but I did do a class to go with this set in really bold colors. Well, tonight I decided to do a 3-piece set with all the same colors because I'm actually getting ready to go to on stage this weekend. And I figured it was easier to do one whole set with the same colors instead of trying to figure out 3 different projects. So I'm using soft seafoam, blushing bride, and basic white, of course. So we will start with this card here. Hey, Kathy, how are you, honey? And let me just get out my pieces. Okay. Hopefully they didn't get lost. Hope everybody's doing good. My my stove saga is finally over. My stove was delivered today. Oh my goodness. It is so nice to have a stove back in the house. That's for sure. Okay, so we're starting with a basic white. I'm doing well. Just a little tired. Been trying to get everything caught up. I had to redo my laundry room for my new washer dryer. Then I've been working on my kitchen and it's just been crazy. And the leaves outside. Oh, the grilled cheese was great. I used it has a griddle down the center of the top of the stove. So it has the 4 burners and then a griddle down the center. And oh my goodness, it works amazing. Okay, so we're starting with our basic white, 8.5 by 5.5. Scored it 4 1/4. And we are going to do it landscape. And you can see I already got ink on it. And then we're going to layer up the front. Let me just get my pieces together here. I'm going to add an additional piece of basic white, 5 3/8 by 4 1/8. And you don't have to, yes, that's for sure. But see, I was able to cook food for Bill to have so he doesn't have to worry about food while I'm gone. So that was a real lifesaver for sure. Like I said, I do have my PDF just about finished, so it'll be available tomorrow. I'm going to get it done tonight, and it'll be posted probably in the morning. And then I'm going to layer on, and I'm actually going to pop up the Blushing Bride 5 1/4 by 4. And then an additional layer of basic white, and it's 5 1/8 by 3 7/8. So let's just get this basic white on the front of the card first. Hopefully there is glue in here. Yep. So I'm just going to glue this layer on. I usually don't like doing my basic white with glue, but we will not see most of this layer because it is covered with the Blushing Bride. Okay, so there is that layer. So for these two layers, I am actually going to use my seal to put this white layer on. So we'll just run the seal. I was raking leaves today, and oh man, my wrists are really sore tonight. All right, so let's just layer this down together. So is there anybody... Yeah, I gotta be careful. I just work too hard. Is anybody in here that's a demonstrator going to on stage? I'm curious to see. I know I'm going to the one in Pittsburgh. And even though it is right here in Pennsylvania, Pennsylvania is a pretty big state, and I am 4 hours away from Pittsburgh. I mean, not that it's a big, giant distance, but 4 hours, and it's supposed to rain, so it's going to be a tough travel. So I am popping up this Blushing Bride. So we have the base. Oh, wow, you're about an hour from the one in Indianapolis. Well, our family always comes first, Fran. We all know that for sure. All right, then I took some basic white and I die cut the frame from the fancy frames. And I did not get all my pieces out. So what I'm going to do is I am just going to add glue to the larger of the sections that are towards the center, because I don't want to really run it along this little thin strips. So I'm just afraid it's going to bleed through. So we're just going to put it on these center pieces all the way around. And then I'm just going to do the same thing around the outside. This way it'll be stuck down and hopefully not have glue all over the place. All right, so then we're going to just take this layer and I am going to just center it right here on the card. Now, if I find that there's any little spots that are actually sticking up, we can just take a little piece of paper, and I'm going to hit this corner here because it's not staying. So I'm just going to take a little piece of paper, add a touch of glue, and I'm just going to run it right underneath and hold it down. Hi, Lottie. Yes, the fancy frames, hey, Dawn, are really, really nice. It comes with this one, and then I think there's like swirls. That's really pretty. Okay. Then I cut a layering circle, one of the scallops, as you can see. And this is the 2 1/8. And I die cut one of the teacups in basic white or coffee cups. I think, like I said, we could use it as for coffee, but if you're anything like me, you drink coffee out of a mug and tea out of a cup. Although I drink tea out of a mug sometimes. All right. And then I'm over here taking out all the little pieces. I'm sorry. I also die cut this piece, and it's the outline so we can decorate this little teacup. And I am just going to, again, really carefully add some glue because I want it to be glued down. And if I would have thought about it, I would have added some double-sided adhesive before I die cut it. And that would have worked perfectly. But we're just going to glue it down. So now we have a pretty decorated cup. And I'm just going to hit this little piece here. So again, I'm just going to take a little bit of glue. I'm just going to stick it under there and pull it out. And it just, so you can see, I don't know if you can tell, but no glue comes around when you do it that way. Yes, I did get my stove. That has to be Karen. I got it this morning, actually. They were here, I think, by 9 o'clock. I was so excited. How crazy is that to be excited about your stove? But I haven't had it since the end of September, like you all know. And oh my goodness, it's wonderful. I christened it today to make food for Bill and for when I go to on stage and then dinner tonight. So really excited. He has been feeling a little better. We're having trouble with when he exerts himself, he gets a lot of pressure in his chest. So he has to be careful. He's been helping me clean up the yard, and then he works for about 10 minutes and then he gives up because he just gets too much chest pressure. All right. So we're going to take this foliage stamp, and we're going to use our Versamark, and we are going to stamp this closer to the top. And then we're going to take some white embossing powder, and let me just get a scrap piece of paper here, and we're going to emboss this in white. And Karen, I got your card. Thank you so much. I meant to bring it. Oh, did I bring it in here? I did. I got this beautiful, beautiful card in the mail today. It was so wonderful. It just looks so pretty. Thank you so very much. My first one for this season. It's so nice getting cards in the mail. You don't get them all that often. All right, so we're going to just get this heat gun going and heat up this embossing powder. Hello, hello. Yes, it would look pretty with colored. And we're going to do that on the other card. Okay, so now, let me just hit this one side. I don't think I got it enough. The white, you have to be careful, but you still have to get it all melted because the white burns pretty easily. Okay, so I did emboss and I'm going to move my camera down, so hold on. There we go. I put it up towards the top a little bit because I want to put my cup right underneath, and I want it to fit pretty much between the edges. Not completely, but I just didn't want it to be too far, okay? So I want the cup to be about halfway up. So we're just going to add some glue and then make sure all this nice foliage looks like it's within the cup and it's pretty straight. And then we're just going to turn this over, and I'm going to put my dimensionals towards the center so it fits within this middle here. I don't really want it to hit these sides because it'll be off kilter. And then we just want to center this, and I can actually move it up just a hair. Okay. So there is our little teacup. Then in the die set, there are a lot of tiny little dies. We have, and let me get that scrap paper again. We have these little hearts, and I die cut these in Blushing Bride. I have all my little pieces here. And then it has these cute little leaves, and I stamp them in soft seafoam and die cut them with their coordinating dies. And then I just want to show you one quick thing for these little flowers. You can see this little stamp right here. I did stamp them, and I'm going to just do it on a scrap in Blushing Bride. And there is a die that coordinates. Excuse me. It's so warm in here tonight. And I just want to show you, if you're looking at this die, let's put it on here. You can see that all the little petals are pretty straight. And there's one petal on this flower, and it's hard to see, but it's crooked. You can see that this little petal on the flower is crooked. So if we go back to our flower, here is a crooked petal. And the only reason I'm telling you that is because when you get this die down, I have a little piece of glue there, and you're trying, there it is, and you're trying to fit this so it fits, and you're getting frustrated, just find that, here it is right here, find this one crooked petal and the one crooked petal on your flower, and it fits absolutely perfectly. Okay, so it's just a little tip when it comes to that little die. I know sometimes it can get frustrating. And then I have two little flowers that I did die cut. I'm just going to get rid of these little pieces of paper here. Okay, let's move these up. Now for the little foliage, I am actually going to add the hearts. And I'm just going to put little dots, random dots of glue so we can add these hearts. And I'm going to use my pick it tool so I can pick them up without trying to fight these teeny little hearts. Just like that. Then we're going to grab these cute little flowers, and we're just going to decorate with these. I'm going to actually use that Picket tool. And we're just going to stick one there. And I'm just putting a dot of glue. And we're going to put one here. Now as that's drying, we're just going to grab these little leaves. I'm just going to add a little glue to both sides. And just slide it right under that flower. Then we're going to do the same thing up here. Okay. They're so teeny tiny. Just going to stick it right under there. Okay. For our gems, I'm using the iridescent pearls. And we're going to take the little teeny tiny pearls and stick one in each center of the flower. And then grab our ribbon. And this is the soft sea foam seam binding. And we're going to cut a length, and I'm sure my fingers are not going to work because they're just so sore today. Hey Linda, how are you, honey? Thank you. Thanks for joining us tonight. So did anybody experience like really nice weather today? I'm telling you, it's been crazy weather. All right, so this bow for me and this little teacup is a little big because I did it on my fingers. But if you pull on the right loop, it'll make the left loop smaller. Let me get in the camera. And then if you pull the left tail, it will make that right loop smaller. So then we'll have a little bow that's, you know, a good size for this teacup. So there we have it. And I just hit the camera. Let's just grab a glue dot. And we're actually going to just stick that glue dot right there. And add our bow. And there's the front of our first card. Yeah, the ribbon is pretty. It's very soft. Gorgeous in Ohio. Nice in New York City. I know tomorrow I think it's supposed to rain. That I'm not looking forward to, traveling in the rain, but all right. So for the inside, we have some Blushing Bride, and it's 5 1/4 by 4, and then some basic white, 5 1/8 by 3 7/8. And we're gonna grab, if I can find it, here it is. We're just gonna grab our silicone mat for a second, and I'm gonna take the same storms in Iowa, because I think because that cold front is hitting the warm air that Nicole is pushing in. Nice in Virginia too. Awesome. Awesome. All right, so we're going to take this foliage for the inside of the card, and I'm going to grab my Blushing Bride, and we're going to just do this really simple. I'm going to ink it up, and we're just going to stamp this right in the center. And I picked up a little piece of something. There we go. And then I'm actually going to use, and I'm going to move this up a little because I know it's dark right near my waist. Then I'm going to grab my stamp let's get together soon. Let's get a block. And we're going to ink that up. And I'm just going to stick it right there in the corner. Let's move that out of the way. And we'll grab our seal because I don't want the glue to show through. And lay this down. And grab our card and glue this right to the center. Okay, so there is card number 1. Just really light and pretty colors. Went from 68 this morning to 42. Yep, 30 tonight. Yep, that's what I figured because that cold front is coming. All right, so I hope you like that one. Let's jump to card number 2. This one's a little bit different. We're sticking with the same colors, but just switching them up a little bit. I just want to make some room. Let me pull out all my pieces. We're going to start with basic white, 11 by 4 1/4. And this time, instead of landscape, we're going to work it portrait. Let me just get my pieces out here. I'm going to lay down some basic white, 5 3/8 by 4 1/8. I'm going to lay down some soft sea foam this time, 5 1/4 by 4. And then I have another piece of basic white, and this is 5 by 3 3/4. And I ran it through the cut and emboss machine with the Quatra foil 3D embossing folder. So this one I am going to glue because we won't see the glue through with the embossing, and I just don't want that embossing to get crushed by using the seal. So I'm just going to lay that right down on my soft sea foam. And then let's take the soft sea foam and we're going to lay that down. I'm going to just take it off a second. We're going to lay this down on our basic white layer. I know that with postage being so high, all these extra layers cost extra money. So if you wanted on, say, this basic white layer, you could have cut out your circles, the white teacup. You could have done, cut them out of this layer before putting your soft sea foam down because you would never see it. I actually did that on one of my cards. Let's see, let me pull it in. I actually did it on my Sunday, the stepped up Sunday card with the pigs. I actually cut out this red frame, and I'm not going to pull it apart, but I cut it out of this real red layer behind the DSP just to save a little bit on weight because postage is really expensive. So you can always do that. Nobody will ever know except you. And then we're just going to layer this down right on the front of the card. just like that. And I'm just going to straighten this out a little bit. When I folded it, it just folded a little bit crooked. All right. And it still did. There we go. Okay, so there is our card base. Yeah, it is. It's really, these colors together are really pretty. Okay, so what I did for this card, and I did most of everything beforehand because I knew it was going to take a little time. I did die cut the same decorative piece to the cups. As you can see, I didn't take out my pieces out, which I should have, but they pop out pretty easy. So we're just going to pop these pieces. And this is the Blushing Bride. Okay, there we go. Got a few sticklers there. And then I did cut out my teacup also. But for this teacup, I'm just going to grab one of my blending brushes. Excuse me. And my Blushing Bride. And I am just going to add a bit of color around the edges of this teacup. Okay, just a little, nothing too crazy. And then we're going to take our Blushing Bride outline and add some glue. Don't fail me now. I think this is the glue bottle I added different glue to. That's why it's working so weird. All right, so let's just take this and add it to this teacup. So our basic white teacup has a little bit. Was there a piece under there? There is. Look at that. One little measly piece stuck. All right. So now the teacup is not, hey Janet, how are you? Hey Margaret. I mean, you can't see it on camera, but you can really see it in person, that there's just a little bit of pink on this white cup. And I am just going to, again, take a little scrap. I'm just going to get this piece right here. All right. So let's grab some basic white. We're going to grab this leaf and our soft seafoam. Let's just move this out of the way so we don't have any accidents. And all we're going to do is ink up and stamp. We want 2 of these. And the die set has a perfect coordinating die. That fits this perfectly. So when you die cut them, you have 2 perfect little leaves. Hey Tracy. Oh, no worries, honey. It's been crazy in this house too. All right. So now that we have our leaves, we're also going to take, now, what did I do with that tissue? I have ink all over this one. This little stamp, I noticed it stretches very easily. So what I would do, and what I did, is I just held it in my hand and plopped it over to pick it up with my block. And the reason being is this stamp, I'm going to see, here it is, also has a coordinating die. Now you could die cut the piece and then line it up before you put it on your block, but you can see right now that it does fit perfectly. And when you stamp this stamp, it's really pretty cute. We'll ink it up, and it gives you two little flowers and then like two little or three little buds, which are really cute. So let's just, and I did already die cut them out, and I have them all right here. I'm just going to pull them in, and they're all upside down, of course. Are there any more? Yeah, there's one more. Okay. And then, looking at the card, you can see I die cut using two of the layering circles to create a circle frame. I did put them in the PDF, but this one is the 2 7/8 is the scalloped. And then the other one is about 2.5 inch die. So you would just lay them down on your paper to create that frame. And I also want you to keep this circle here, the larger of the circles. Then I did the same thing using the scallop circle, which is 2 5/8, and then a regular layering circle that is 2 1/8 to create this frame. And I'm sure everybody knows how to create a frame by layering your dies together. Let's see. Let's use this one. So I'm just going to demonstrate with the ovals, but I'm sure you know how. You would lay this one down and then take your second one and layer it right inside. And you want to just eyeball it that you have about the same amount of space all the way around. And then that is how you would get your circle frame. Okay? So we're just going to pull in this again. This is the large circle from this frame here. And we're actually going to take the thank you stamp and our blushing bride, and we are going to stamp our thank you. Just like that. And we're going to put that aside for a second. Let's pull in our card, and we're going to start with the large frame. Now, let me see. I'm going to grab my sheet of dimensionals, and we probably could use, you could even use the strips, but know that the strips are actually deeper than our dimensionals. So you don't want to mix and match dimensionals on the same piece. If you can see, the foam strips and the dimensionals are two different sizes. I don't know if you can tell, but they are different. So I'm going to stick with my dimensionals. Hey, Sheila. Nice to see you. And I am just going to cut a tiny little strip. Yeah, it works really well that way, Janet. And I even use a little bit of washi tape to hold it in place. Or if you have, the magnetic plate, that would be perfect too. But I use a little bit of washi tape so it stays straight and it works out perfect. So we're just going to cut some strips. And I hate working with little tiny things because I feel like I'm all thumbs lately. And we're going to just take these and put them around this circle. So we just want to pop this up. And I'm actually going to just put them on about half. And then we'll grab the other circle. But let's get this on first. I'm just going to do half because we're going to glue the other half to the other circle. And I'm going to leave those right there, so don't mind me. And I'm just going to line it up right here at the edge of the basic white and stick that down. Let's just pull those off a little. With our next circle, I am actually going to pull it off the edge a little bit. And let's see, I should have weeded, but we can still do this. So I'm going to, again, add these teeny tiny little strips. Where's my pokey tool? All these little pieces tonight. I knew. That's why I actually die cut everything and stamped everything, because I knew my hands weren't going to work. All right, so let's get these little pieces. So Sheila, what time is it? Yes. Isn't that something? And I noticed that the only reason I noticed, Janet, was I actually created a card using both the dimensionals and the foam strips, and it was lopsided. So the foam strips, they're about 1/8 of an inch, and the dimensionals are 1/16 of an inch. So that's a sizable difference when you want your card front to be level. It's a big difference. All right, so let's get these papers off. I'm going to show you what I'm going to do. I should not have put my embossed layer down yet, but we can fix it. I'm just going to put this right under here. Let's add this piece first. I'm going to have to switch it up a little bit, so I'm going to move it up. And let's see, do I have a pencil? I'm just going to put a little mark here and here. and grab my small little cutter. So when you make a mistake and you glue things down in haste, which I do quite often, there's always a way to fix it. All right, so let's add this. I'm going to add this to this white circle. Now I can cut the frame, and as you can see, there's a dimensional there, of course. Let's see if we can salvage that. We're going to just stick this right here at the end, like that. And I'm going to just cut another one for that piece there. Ooh, I could have put the fan on tonight. How crazy is that? November, and it is warm as can be out there. Although I remember a few years back, around Thanksgiving, it was really warm because we had our goats and miniature horses, and we had just bought a new little mare, and the Amish guy that we had bought her from was so happy that he still had grass, and it was Thanksgiving time. All right, so I just glued that circle down to the front of the card. My dimensional is sticking out. I don't like that. So I just glued it down to the front of the card and added my frame to that circle. Now I'm just going to go back and add a bit of glue where this circle is going to touch, so it'll hold it down. I'm just going to hold it just for a second. But it's the same. It's really crazy how warm it is. All right. Okay, so now that we got those pieces on, worked a little backwards there, I am now going to pull in this teeny tiny little tea bag tag. And we're going to grab this itsy bitsy little stamp. I'm going to turn it over, and it actually says, "I just can't thank you enough." And I'm going to pull in my Blushing Bride again, and we're going to stamp this right on that little tag. Now for this, I am just going to grab a little glue dot. Oops. Another teeny tiny piece. And I'm just going to stick that on the back. And I'm going to grab a little piece of twine. And this is in white. Only need about an inch. And I'm just going to another teeny piece. Get that down there like that. Grab my teacup. And another glue dot. And I want my tag to be on this side of the cup. So that's where I'll put my glue dot. And we'll put it right about there. And we'll just fold that over and stick it down like that. Okay, so now we have our little tea bag sticking out of our cup. Yeah, the time difference. Where are you, Janet? Where are you located? I know here now. Oh my goodness, it gets dark so early. The time change. It's crazy. Hey, Sheila. Yes, very tiny. Very, very tiny. All right, so let's grab this little teacup and grab some dimensionals and let's pop this little guy right here in the center. Now, we want to make sure that we keep our dimensionals on this side of the cup because we don't want it interfering with our circles because it won't be level. If you're worried about it not being adhered, we can add a little bit of glue. We want to get that cup so it is pretty well centered on the bottom. I'm just going to grab one little piece, one more piece. I'm just going to stick it right under there so that stays down. You are in Australia. Awesome. Oh, it's only 8:45. Wow, you have your whole day ahead of you. Awesome. It's so amazing. Our day is just about over. All right. So there's our little teacup. Now remember those leaves that we stamped? We want these under these cups. Now we are going to run into it. Well, with this one we can actually stick in because I've added that glue. So that one's good. This one we have to add some glue. And I'm going to actually add it to the front so it sticks to the top of the cup. And then I'm just going to add some glue right there. Let's push that down a little. So now we have some foliage. It is crazy for sure. I hope you have a great day, that's for sure. Now, all our little pieces. Let's grab that picky tool. Now you can see my circle is a little higher on this card, so we're going to have to change up a little bit. So we're going to get our pick tool. I'll put a flower here. I'll put a flower here. And then we're going to put one of these little ones right there. Let's grab that glue again. We're going to put our bow right about here. So let's put 1, 2, 3. Fill in some of that space I have left over because I moved everything up a little bit. Okay, let's create that bow. And we'll get this on the front of the card, giving those flowers a minute to dry so we can add our iridescent pearls. Now this bow I'm not going to put on the cup. I'm just going to put it on the front of the card so I can leave it larger from how I took it off my fingers. Just want to straighten up my tails a little bit. Cut them off. Let's grab a glue dot and let's put it right about here. grab our little pearls, and we're using the smaller pearls. And we're just going to add them right to the center of our flowers. Okay, so that's the front of the second card. Let me just put that away. Let's grab the inside of the card, and we again have soft sea foam, 5 3/8 by 4 1/8, and basic white, 5 1/4 by 4. I made the inside pretty simple on this one too. I'm just going to carry these leaves right into the center of the card. Whoa! Let's move this stuff out of the way. So I'm just going to add one leaf here, and then one here. Just quick and easy. And because the center is so open, we're going to just grab our seal, lay this down. Just pull that up a minute. That's okay. I'm going to do something that I usually never do. I'm going to grab some twine, and I'm going to do it with this because I can actually create a knot before I tie my bow. So I'm just going to add this to the bottom of the card, tie a knot first, and then there's also a quick fix. If you get that wrapped and you have too much, it's too loose, there's a quick fix for it. So when it comes to the twine, it doesn't make me as nervous as if I had to do it with ribbon. All right, so straighten out all your tails and your loops. If you, let's see, put your finger on that knot and pull your loop, it'll keep your, it'll keep your bow nice and neat. And then you can just clip off your tail. Now, if this was too loose, I would come to the back, and then I would take some seal and just turn it a little bit, just like that, just to take up some of the slack if I had done it and it wasn't working right. It's a good way to take up some of your slack. And just add some glue. Oops, just got my dimensionals. And add this right, oops, I must have cut it too big, right to the center of the card. So there is number 2. I'm going to take a quick drink. Running late, ladies. Hey, Tracy. Oh, you are so welcome. It's so, isn't it crazy? And they work out really well. And they make, I don't even know if I have my bow right here. It's been sitting on my desk, my little teeny tiny bow. Here it is. It makes just the perfect little bow. Here's one you would make with your fingers. and it's a pretty good size. And then there's the one you would make with a fork. It's perfect. And if you're still watching, you don't have to send a message. Thanks, Linda. Bill's already in bed. All right. So, since we're having our coffee and our tea, I figured we'd make a little holder for our biscuits. And I don't think I pulled out another bag, actually. And it's actually the Belvita cookies, or the breakfast biscuits, which are awesome. I haven't tried these, though. They're cranberry and orange. I haven't tried them yet. They look good. So we're going to start with our basic white. And I think it's 7 3/4 by 4 5/8. We're going to score it at 1 1/4. And then I did 1 1/4 from the other side. 1 1/4 and then 3 3/8. And then turn it and score it at 2 1/8 and 3 3/8 again. So here is the base of our holder. So we're just going to score and burnish on all our score lines. Okay. Grab our scissors and we're going to cut some tabs. So I like to cut the little bump out. So we're going to go to the left of that bump and then just cut out a little wedge. And then this one, I am going to cut to the right of that bump. And then, let's just get that out of the way, cut out a little wedge. Real simple. Same thing on this side. Cut out a little wedge. So I'm going to cut to the left and cut out a little wedge. Now, while I still have it just like this, I'm just going to take I'm going to grab a pen. I'm going to take my ruler and I'm just going to measure up. This piece here is 2 1/8. So I'm just going to measure up 2 1/8 and put a little dot. And I'm going to turn it around, and I'm from this side now, I'm going to measure up 2 1/8. And the reason I'm doing that is I want to angle it so it's not so square. So let's get that cutter back out. And I am going to cut it from this score line to the dot I made. So let me just get this in here. Just quick and easy. And then the same thing on this side, from the score line to that little mark. Quick and easy. Okay. Now we can make our little box. So these little flaps are going to come inside. And we can actually glue these or use tear and tape. Just add a little glue. And you want to make sure that, and I'm going to move this camera up a little bit so I'm not in your face. I can show the fork. I don't have a fork with me tonight, though. I will. Remind me, and I will do one. I'm probably going to do a stepped up Sunday video. I can't do my simple Saturday because I'll be on stage. So I will do the fork bow. Hello, hello. I'll do the fork bow on Sunday when I'll do the stepped up and the simple Saturday on Sunday. So now we're just going to add some glue to these flaps. Okay, we put our tabs on the inside. Now this one we're going to do to the outside. And we just want to make sure that it's even on the bottom, nice and straight. And then on the side, on the sides, it likes to move. So just make sure that's glued down. Okay, so there is our little box. I have soft sea foam 2x2, and this is actually the teacup or the tea boutique. Is that what it's called? 6x6 designer series paper, and this is 1 7/8 by 1 7/8. And we're just going to add some glue and glue this down. The box is pretty, the little holder is pretty simple. And then we have, I think these are 2 by 1 1/8, and I have 2 of them. And then I have 2 of the designer series paper, 1 7/8 by 7/8 by 1. I'm sorry. And again, just a little bit of glue. I figured where this little box is in the cellophane, I keep it a little plain, and then we added a nice tag. Whoops. All right, so here's our pieces. Hey, Dawn. Yes, I'm hoping to. I spent today making some swaps. So that'll be fun. I've never done. I went to one on stage, and I didn't do a swap for that. But I did do one for this time. All right, so I'm just going to add these. And the glue, we have to make sure it dries. And then one more. So that's what I was working on part of the day. And like I said, we've been in, oh my goodness, we have one tree, but millions of leaves. Holy smoke. So hopefully today was the last day to do leaves. I don't think we need to do them anymore. All right, so now this will fit right inside. And let me just grab these are the gusset bags. I believe they're not even available anymore, but I have so many of them. So we're just going to stick this right in the bag. You've never been to one, Fran? I hear you. The first one I went to, it is something that you should try to at least experience once. Stamping Up is amazing when it comes to putting together an event, and it just revs you up and gets you really excited about being a demonstrator, and I just love it. Now, next year, I'm hoping that I can go to the one that is going to be in Las Vegas, because I will be able to this year, as long as I keep my silver elite. I'll be able to go, so that would be awesome. All right, so you can see me struggling here with this bow. Let's just pull these tails. Okay, so now we have a cute little package. So let's make a tag for this package. Tailor-made tags. I did one in basic white. Excuse me, but I'm going to take a drink. And then I used the same designer series paper that I used for the little box. And I cut a piece to fit the tag. And it's 1.5 by 3 3/8. Now you'll notice the 2 rounded corners. So I'm just going to take a corner punch, and I'm not going to put it all the way down. I'm just going to round the corner off just a little bit. And then when we come back up here, our circle is in the opposite direction. So I'm just going to grab another little tiny circle punch. And I am actually going to, nope, we don't want it that way. We want it this way. We're just going to cut the corner off so the circle matches the outside. I mean, you really don't have to, but it just looks like it matches a little better. And we're just going to glue this down to that tag. Now we've been using, and I don't know, here she is. We've been using the die, the decorative die for our little teacups. But for our tag, I actually pulled the stamp, and you can see it stamps the same design. Thanks, Dawn. Yeah, these I think are new, friend. I love the blueberry ones. They have coconut too. But yeah, these orange look really good. So it's the same as the outline and stamped. So you just cut it with your teacup. And we're going to pop this up on the front of our card tag. And you can see I was playing. And I kept my dimensionals down the center. And I want to center the cup itself. And then I again stamped and dice cut some leaves. And I'm actually going to add some glue. And you want to make sure when you put them in, you're going to feel that dimensional. So we're just going to cut this end off. And I want this leaf actually to pop up. So I'm just going to use 1 dimensional. And we're going to take it and just tuck it right under. I have these cute little flowers. These are the ones that we stamped, and I showed you that one little die with the crooked little petal. And we're going to just pop these little flowers up. We'll put one here. And we'll put one here. And one down here. So we're just popping these up. And one more. Oops. And let's pull in our pearls. Okay, so there is most of our tag. Now a little bit of ribbon, just to put a little bow on this. And I think I cut it too short. And I did. Let me get a different one. No sense in trying to fight it. So let's get this bow together. So ladies, I am hoping, like I said, I'm just about done with the PDF for tonight's projects. So tomorrow, before I leave, I will have everything posted, so you'll have the PDF. And I'm also going to pick 2 winners. One for last week and one for this week for watching the video. I'll just do it random. All right, so then we added our bow, and then I'll do my Simple Saturday and Stepped Up Sunday on Sunday, and we'll still do it 11. I think that's a good time. All right, so I took a piece of string, and I am just going to, hopefully this is the right way. I like the neat end on the front, so yeah, I think that's right. So we're just going to pull that through. And then we have our little tag, and then we can take this string and then tie it right around this top again. Now, when I tied the first one, I did it pretty tight. This one, I think I would let it dangle a little bit more. If you don't like it the way it sways, you can always stick a glue dot right underneath it. I did it for this one, but my string is just a little too short. So there are our tags with our biscuits. Here is one of our thank yous. And teacup. And here is the second. So, ladies, thank you for joining me tonight. If any of you are headed to on stage, please travel safely and have an awesome time. I'll try to post some pictures tomorrow. And I'll see you on Sunday around 11 o'clock for Simple Saturday and Stepped Up Sunday. Have a great rest of your night or the rest of your day, Janet. Thanks, Margaret. And I'll talk to everybody on Sunday. Bye-bye.